everybody, welcome back to the Trailer Park Live here on the 2nd Street Marvel. As you all know, we do this show every single Friday night here live, usually at 8 p.m. If it ever gets pushed back, I will let you all know, or if I ever have to cancel for any reason, I will let you all know well ahead of time. Now, as you all know, I usually go over my comic book pull list here first, but before I get into that, I just wanted to say thank you all so much for subscribing. We have finally hit 100 subscribers, and as I said, I will be doing a giveaway very soon for that digital copy of Sony's Venom. So make sure you stay tuned. I'm gonna get some, just some things written up, just so to get you all entered into that, just so everybody has a chance to get entered into that drawing for the digital copy of Venom. But now, and again, thank you all for subscribing. I really appreciate it. Thank you all for tuning in here, watching my silly videos, watching me being silly. The other day, I've been doing some movie reviews, trying to get into a little more than just, just the Marvel stuff. I mean, I know my name is 2nd Street Marvel here on the channel, but it is, Marvel does mean more than just Marvel Comics, which is something I like, which will take me into my pull list. First one I got here is Captain Marvel. Issue number 2. This is the movie variant edition. I just picked this one up. Thought it was pretty cool. Look, the cover. It's got Brie Larson on the cover. Captain Marvel coming out. I'm not sure that there's anybody I know personally that is more excited to see this movie. But how about you? Let me know down in the comments. Let me know if you're excited to see the Captain Marvel movie. I know I am. There's a lot of people upset. Brie Larson's out there. I'm not here for politics. I mean, she does what she does to promote her movie. That's something else. That's not up to me. No comments on Disney. Okay, we could. That's a conversation that could go all night. Maybe we'll get into that. Who knows? Okay. Next issue is Winter Soldier number 3. I'm not sure if any of you have been paying attention to this series, but this one is really good. Winter Soldier. Love the issues. Issue number 1, issue number 2 is really good. I'm probably going to do a review on those soon because that is issue number 3. And as I said, I am going to start doing some more comic book reviews as well. And probably doing them in about 3-issue runs. So, it's not like every single issue. I think that might get, take up a lot of time. And I wouldn't say redundant, but it take up a lot more time. As you can see, I take a little bit of time to do some of my videos here. Next issue is Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider number 5. I still haven't got really the Punisher number 8. In case you didn't know, I like Spider-Man. So, Amazing Spider-Man issue number 15. This run has been amazing. I haven't got to read this issue quite yet, but I'm going to read it very soon. This is definitely one that I keep up with every time it comes out. I still have to catch up on my Captain Americas. The Captain Americas are really good. I really like watching those, reading those as well. Okay, the next one is Marvel Tales featuring Black Widow. This is just kind of a book. I mean, it's pretty thick. It was like $7.99. It's got like several issues of featuring Black Widow back in the day. I know it was like an Amazing Spider-Man issue in there. Not that it tells us suspense, but just a couple of different issues packed into one. So that's pretty cool. Next one I have here is True Believers, Captain Marvel. I believe this is the Captain Marvel versus Ronin. This was a $1 issue. Like I said, some of these $1 issues I may do some giveaways on. So, make sure you're subscribed. Click the little bell so you get notifications anytime we've uploaded new videos, because I may just do a giveaway in one of those videos. Okay, the next issue I have is Captain Marvel, The Coming of Captain Marvel, True Believers, another True Believers issue. Like I said, been picking these $1 issues up for, hopefully do some giveaways. Subscribe, invite your friends, tell them to come visit us here. The next one here is actually not Marvel Comics. I know, you all probably going to be floored, and it's not DC neither, but I'll get into that soon. Like I said last week, my son was wanting me to pick up some Batman, so I might get into that pretty soon. Like I said, I don't know if they do different Batman titles. If there is, let me know down in the comments what's a good one to check out. Like I said, I don't know how they do theirs. Like I said, it's amazing. Like Spider-Man has like, I don't know, at least 2 different issues that's going on right now. Anyway, moving on. Dynamite issue number 1. Army of Darkness, Bubba Hotep. Yeah, I seen this store. I had to pick that up. It was just pretty cool. I actually seen some others that I think it was by Dynamite also that were doing them. There was Elvira issues. They got some that are like drawn art, but there's some that actually have her on there, and it's Elvira, right? Can't believe I didn't pick those up. If I see any of those when I go into the comic shops, I'm gonna start picking those ones up, because Elvira, right? I mean, who doesn't like Elvira? crazy if you ask me. Kind of that's another big part of my childhood too. Growing up, the Elvira movies. Like Mistress of the Dark. And then I know she used to host that show on what was it on, like USA. But anyway, that's all I have for my comic book pull list. I'm gonna, in case you can't tell right here, I've got my higher quality camera. It's not good for streaming here, so I'm gonna go ahead and switch to the camera on my computer. And again, thank you all for tuning in tonight. Give me just a second here, and again, thank you all so much for we finally hit 100 subscribers. Finally hit 100. Gonna do this giveaway. Man, I don't know what to say. Thank you all for tuning in and checking me out. Because you could be watching a million other things right now, and you're not. You're here watching me. So thank you, and pay attention for more details on the giveaway for. Good evening. We interrupt your regularly scheduled program with an important update from Trailer Park News. Actor Don Cheadle has just been announced to replace Denzel Washington in a sequel to the 2001 hit crime drama Training Day. Now, this news further solidifies the 54-year-old actor as the king of the sophomore slump, having saved several films and directors from hitting that dreaded slump. Which brings us to our top story. Now, many may remember actress and comedian Leslie Jones made big news on January 19th when she tweeted about her discontent over the announcement of an upcoming Ghostbusters sequel that will soon be going into production. Now, what wasn't known at the time was all the reasons surrounding that angry tweet. But a recent story has uncovered that in the days leading up to that angry tweet, it was announced that Don Cheadle would also be replacing Leslie Jones in an upcoming Ghostbusters reboot sequel. Now, while this would normally make big news, it was overshadowed by the releasing of the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer. In other news, Avengers Endgame toy leaks continued dominating the airwaves, with people drawing much speculation off of everything from Legos to hoodies. The funniest amongst these stories was this Lego leak of the War Machine armor with somebody calling it as big as a skyscraper. Now obviously this buffoon don't realize that Legos aren't built to scale, and it would be kinda hard to get a Lego War Machine that is relatively the size of a Lego man. There were also many stories about some hoodies being released by a clothing company in the UK, with many drawing speculation off the description of these clothes. That's all we have for this Trailer Park News update. Now back to your regularly scheduled program. What's up, everybody? I'm not sure what's going on there. I guess we're having some technical difficulties here. But again, thank you all for for subscribing. Like I said, we hit 100 subscribers finally. So we will be doing that giveaway. Make sure that you leave a comment down in the comments section. That's the easiest way to for doing these giveaways. So you got to comment. Make sure you're subscribed, and yeah, make sure you're subscribed. Comment. Now, like I was saying, you've seen my comic book pull list. I did get a chance to catch up on some of these issues. The Captain Marvel issues. I heard some people reviewing those, especially like the first one. I don't know, some of these people didn't like it. I mean, I don't know. I guess there was some of the things in there kind of like okay, I don't know, just funny things that I guess people would nitpick at, but I don't know. Overall, I like the first couple issues. I guess I'll be doing a review probably next month. They'll have the third issue will be coming out, so I'll be doing a review on those. I will be doing a review on those Winter Soldier ones. Like I said, the first 3 issues just came out, so I'll be doing those. And I do want to do obviously like I said, you all can see I'm a Spider-Man fan. I do want to do a review of Nick Spencer's run so far on the Spider-Man issues. And like I said, I'll probably do them in 3 or 4 issue runs, to kind of keep it a little, I don't know, a little closer and condensed together. So, pay attention for that. And, yeah, I'll be doing more of those reviews. I'm also going to get, like I said last week, I do want to get some music reviews done here on the channel. And so I've got a friend that I'm gonna connect with so I can get some of those things done for you guys. And sorry, I'm kind of getting all these. Can you all give me just 1 second? Okay, sorry about that. Um, yeah, so I've got a friend I want to get into doing help me do some of these reviews. I also might get a couple friends to help me do some of these other things as well. Just I don't know, kind of add a little more spice into some of these maybe I don't know videos and stuff that I've been doing. So oh man, where are we at here? When are you gonna? Let me check here. I got a message here. When are you gonna tell us 17 things we missed in the Frozen trailer? Well, I'll probably not do a Frozen trailer one. I don't know. The trailer was pretty cool. I'm not sure if you got a chance to see it. Obviously, if you want to see 17 things that you did miss, well, I don't know. You probably didn't watch the trailer, but it was a good trailer. It was pretty good. I did like. I don't know. It looked different. It looked like more. I don't know, serious, more action packed. Because like my daughters were, like almost babies when the first one came out. It seemed like, and so they've grown up a little bit, and it almost seems like it's kind of evolved like that, and like age wise. um, so hopefully they do something cool there. It did look like a little bit more of a serious type of movie. Um, Yeah, and like I hope you all like that little news clip that I put together. That's one of the other things I was mentioning. Like some segments and stuff. I want to kind of I kind of just want to just something different to do on the channel. Just some little funny skits, stuff like that. Let me know what you all think about that down in the comments. But yeah, I was thinking about doing stuff like that, just little silly things. Just I don't know, parody news stories. Maybe when there's news stories that are happening, maybe just take and make a parody of them. Just humor, something to laugh at. You know, some things are far too serious these days in our society these days. So why not laugh? Ooh, sorry, Sorry, I'm kind of moving things around here. I've been moving. Oh, sorry about that. I've been moving things around here in my room here the past few days. So see, getting that lower again. All right, there we go. That should be good. We're not good. There we go. So yeah, I'm going to do some more little skits like that. I don't know. See what we can do. I think it'd be kind of funny. But getting back to those comic books, like I said, I did get a chance to even read that third issue of the Winter Soldier while that we got that news break there. So it's the Winter Soldier issues have been pretty good. There is one thing that Professor Bill over at Comic Books University had mentioned about this third issue, and I don't know. I guess it comes down to I guess typical things that happen in movies, comic books, and things like that, and it's just something that's like okay, and I get what he's talking about. It didn't really take me out of the story as much as it did him. It sounded like, but I do get what he was saying in his review, in his little breakdown of the issue, and so I get it, and it's something that hopefully when like Avengers Endgame or even Captain Marvel or any of these movies that come out when we watch this type of movies that something don't happen, you're like, oh, of course, like that's of course that's going to happen because it's the most obvious thing to happen. Um, yeah, so hopefully nothing like that happens, and that's something. I mean, I don't think is going to happen in those movies coming up, and I'll touch more on that in just a minute. And like I said, I am going to be doing that giveaway for the digital copy of Venom. Leave comments in all the videos. I've got plenty of videos there, that I've done so far. So go back, comment, make sure you like, subscribe, so when I'm going to do the giveaway. I'm probably going to do it in about 2 weeks to give people a chance to get on there and do all that. Upload some more videos, get people to comment on them. I may give it a month. I may give it 30 days to get enough people out there because I'm a relatively small channel and maybe there's not a whole lot of people that know about it. Maybe some of my subscribers haven't watched my videos in the past week. Maybe they've been busy. But VB Studios. Hey, how's it going, man? Nice to see you. How you doing tonight? Um, so yeah, the I want to do you know, yeah, just some things like that. Well, I can't remember where I was right now. Sorry, it's been a long day. I'm sure it's been a long day for all of us. Mm, mm. But yeah, like I said, make sure you comment on the videos so I can do that giveaway. Like I said, I'm probably gonna give it a few weeks. And then I do got some more comic books. Like I said, you seen in the video there. Been getting picking up some of those dollar issues. I'll probably pick some of those up. They're only $1, so I can do some giveaways and send them out to you guys. Just for here hanging out. They probably just be over little silly things. So make sure like I said, make sure you subscribe, comment, always leave comments. Um, But what else did we get? Oh yeah, those Lego leaks, those Lego leaks. I was talking there in the in that in that little news clip. There's there's a lot of channels out there that do a lot of videos, and I watch a lot of these channels. I'm a big fan of a lot of these channels. I watch what they do, but like lately, these like the past week, it's getting pretty ridiculous. It's like getting pretty ridiculous with some of the things that they're going out on a limb saying. Like one of my favorite channels is War Stew. Okay, like a lot of people watch War Stew. A lot of people are trolling him in there in the comments, and he asks people to leave comments and stuff anyway. So that's what we're here for. Obviously, any content creator needs input to know what to do. So a lot of people in there, say he's like clickbait and everything, and he's got somebody that he does that are, like, but I mean, a lot of these channels have some really ridiculous ones. Like I was watching one of them the other day, and this guy was talking about the Lego leak with the War Machine armor, and like I said in that little clip. This guy went and said the War Machine armor, because it's so big on the thing compared to the little Lego guy, that this thing is going to be the size of a skyscraper. And I seriously wanted to unsubscribe from the channel right there. Like this, okay, like dude, like you're being ridiculous. And but I didn't. I'm like, you know what? Because I got I'm the kind of person I gotta wait and see what else somebody says. I couldn't just unsubscribe anyway. Because the guy does do some videos that have some pretty good content. But this guy went and he was saying it's going to be the size of a skyscraper because the size compared to the size of the little Lego guy, and that's just absolutely ridiculous because they couldn't make a War Machine armor like to scale, like to make it be relatively the size. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't work out. I mean, you'd have like you couldn't make the Lego pieces. There would be too many. I don't care how they formed them or anything. It would just I don't know. And that's what's so funny about these things. Lately, some of the videos have been getting ridiculous. Yes, VB Studios, I do remember you. Didn't you do the War Stews intro on for that he's been using? It's a pretty legit intro. Endgame is going to make Back to the Future look like Office Space. Man, wouldn't is that a good thing? I think that is. I think that is kind of a good thing. Wouldn't I think that would be a good thing maybe. So much time travel. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, quantum realm stuff, maybe alternate universes. I don't know about. I don't know about time travel. I'm still not convinced with the time travel thing. Uh, like I said, I'm totally down with alternate universes and everything, and I'm pretty sure that there are alternate universes here. There's got to be something because I mean I think wasn't there even I don't know they could have even been doctored photos too, but where they were having the different characters in different costumes and everything. I think they had like Tony as Doctor Strange and things like that. And that's why I was thinking like in the trailer, in that little TV spot for Endgame, they everybody keeps talking about there's Ultron's voice in it. But I don't think it's Ultron's voice. I mean, is there a chance of Ultron coming back? Possibly. I think it's possible that he's still out there. But I also think that that voice at the end, the last time it says "not us," it sounds like Steve Rogers, but it sounds like when when the Iron Man mask closes over Tony Stark's face, and it kind of has like a mechanical voice when you're on the outside of it. You can hear the change in his voice. It's almost like that. Like I was thinking, maybe it was one of those alternate universe things, like when we've seen Tony Stark as Doctor Strange. Maybe it's one of those things where Steve Rogers is Iron Man. You know, who knows? I don't know. I mean, it's just a thought I had in my brain. Is it a viable theory? I don't know. Let's see. Um, I mean, they're going to be traveling back and forth in time. I don't know. I mean, they could be. They could be. I mean, I'm not willing to rule time travel out. I just think it's a lot to do in the time frame that they have to work in. It's just because they haven't really experimented with it or anything. You know, it's I don't know. Um, yes, I did check out some of your videos. I was watched a couple of those the other day. Um, yes, I definitely remember you. Okay, it is late. It is from late in the movie. What's from late in the movie? I'm sure there's I think there's definitely some things from later in the movie. You know, like a lot of these people running, you know, like a lot of the people, you know, take things out of context, and that's something else I definitely want to get into also here in a few minutes, is people taking things out of context, because okay, there was that interview that I think a lot of people take out of context with Kevin Feige, where the interview was, I believe it was MTV News, was asking, you know, asked him about if it was all from the first 15-20 minutes, and he asked if that was accurate, and Kevin Feige said it's somewhat accurate, and everybody takes it as he's saying it's only from the first 15 to 20 minutes. It's not the truth. That's not it, and it's just one example of people, you know, like I said, taking, you know, misconstruing people's words. And you know that a guy like Kevin Feige knows what to say. Um, you know, they know what to say in an interview, and I think we see that in a lot of interviews they that they that they do when they go on like Kimmel and Ellen, and just all the different things that the stars go on and do when they do in the interviews. I think they actually give them little things to say, because I'm telling you, the time Kobe Smulders was on Jimmy Fallon, it was in one of my other videos. I mean, I'm telling you, it seemed she was out there being too playful, and it almost seemed like it was planned. If you know what I mean. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but it seemed like she was kind of like given things to say, and I think a lot of them are. You know, I don't think anything that we hear are really missteps. What else do we have? Uh, oh, you're doing an Avengers movie? All right. They have to make a gigantic armor to defeat the final foe. Um, I don't know that it's necessarily a gigantic armor. I mean, I think they all have armors, like the suits and that everybody keeps talking about. I mean, I don't doubt that the suits are real. I just don't know that everybody's going to wear them. And you know, I was thinking about, because one of the things that a lot of the people, some of the things actually that came out of those leaks with the hoodies, these Avengers hoodies, everybody was talking about. Now, do they have a lot of significance? Is there anything to really take from them? I don't know. I mean, you got to remember, these clothing companies are trying to sell clothes in the end, you know, so they put stuff in the description to just put stuff in there. Now, at the same time, they were probably given stuff from Marvel to put on there, and it said in there about like PIM particles and nanotech. Now, the thing is, I was thinking about it, and that actually kind of makes sense. That would kind of make sense, because Tony Stark, like I said, I think Tony Stark has suits made for everybody already. If you watch Avengers Infinity War, there's a scene where they're going off into space, and you know, it's the scene where Peter Parker says, "I can't breathe." And then he said, "You can't it's because you're running out of air. But then it said Tony Stark is sitting there flying up there, and he says, Friday unlock 17A, and if you pay attention, it's a real quick scene. I mean, it goes by fast. It shows this screen. It shows a screen, and it shows like an overhead, like how would you say, like an overhead view of, like, I would say maybe like New York, or well, wherever they're at, like a world view, I guess you would say. And it shows that really quick where they're at, and then like you see all these little capsules. It looks like what would signify capsules moving around, and it shoots off, and it's just on the little screen that's there, and you see it shoot out of a cannon, and then it's the spider suit. So I definitely think Tony Stark has all of these suits made, because I'm pretty sure I put this in my video. Tony Stark even says, like earlier, obviously we all know he's been working on tech, getting stuff for everybody, to, uh, so they can fight the bad guys. And it's all, I think a lot of it's made out of the nanobots, like they have, like he's got embedded in his chest, which is another thing I want to talk about. People were talking about his chest piece in the trailer, how it looks like it's embedded. Well, if you pay attention to Avengers Infinity War, he had it embedded in there already. He said he didn't need it, but he had it there. He said it was just a housing for nanoparts, and he had his shirt over it. I think he just had his shirt cut or whatever to where it goes over. But in the end, really, if it's the nanobots in there, they form to however he wants them to anyway. That's what they do. So they can form into whatever. So I was thinking, if he has this tech, they have these suits. By the time he gets the Pym particles, which Scott Lang would bring to him, because obviously, I mean, we all know that Hank Pym, obviously he's been dusted away anyway, but Hank Pym never really wanted, he's always been reluctant to work with the Avengers, and especially, well, the Starks, I guess, and S.H.I.E.L.D. And, but I was thinking, if these nanobots pretty much form to however he wants, that's why those suits kind of look like Scott Lang suits, like over the shoulders and things like that. Maybe that's why. Maybe they are suits to go into the quantum realm. Maybe. I'm not saying they are quantum realm suits, but maybe they're that. But I was thinking maybe they were just suits that Tony Stark had made for all the Avengers, so they could be shot off into space like Spider-Man was, so he would have been okay going up on that ship, where he could breathe and things like that. So I was thinking maybe Tony Stark had those suits made for everybody that were made like that. Then all he has to do is get the Pym particles to integrate into the suits, and he can just imagine it, basically, because that's what the nanobots do, and integrate it into the suits. Now, as for the bands they have on their hands, I'm not sure where those come in at. Maybe those are the quantum bands, like Warstu was talking about on his channel one day. As far as that's really hard to say, because everybody seems to also forget about the barf technology. Like everybody, forgot about barf technology, and how the Russos said that was coming back supposedly. But did they say that it was coming back? We only seen pictures where they were carrying a case that said barf. They actually said, if you pay attention to the first, however many minutes of the beginning of Captain America's Civil War, they were talking about a certain piece of technology, right? Okay, well, everybody just assumes it was barf, and they had those pictures with the barf, right? Well, my thought was, what if they weren't talking about the barf? What if they were talking about the biological weapon that Rumlow was after? And we seen, before they were doing, God, it's been a year ago now, just after Infinity War came out, almost a year, when they were talking about the stunt person for Scarlett Johansson had come back on her, got her outfit and everything from Civil War, and they were reshooting some of that. So I was thinking maybe that's the piece of technology they were talking about. Just because it's a biological weapon doesn't mean it's not technology, because that's what went into it, is the science. It's technology. And I think I talked about this before. But that's... I mean, that's essentially what it would be. And and it made me kind of wonder too, because we see the capsule that biological weapon is in, and you ever notice that it's like red, and the capsule it's in, it's almost like the beginning of Ant-Man when he shows in the Pym particle, and it's red and it's in a little capsule. Because really, if you think about it, the Pym particle would be technically a biological weapon if you didn't have the means to harness it correctly. Meaning like the regulator and all those kinds of things, right? So, uh, like you've seen, he in the movie where he had that little dropper and he dropped and he would drop a little bit onto things like he knew like a dosage, I guess, and it would just shrink the things down. Well, you think about it, you get a capsule, that big old capsule. What would that do to an area if you dropped it? It would just like it would implode, right? Um, and that's just what I think. But there is one thing I do know too is that biological weapon was actually something called the Zodiac. Okay, and the Zodiac, I know that just because there was one of the Prelude comics for Captain America. I think it was a Captain America Civil War Prelude comic where they actually covered all that, and those comics are canon. Now, do they completely draw 100% things off of them? I would hate to say that they don't, because they were specifically made for those movies. And like I said, this particular one they were talking about the Zodiac, and I believe in Marvel Comics before the Zodiac was something else. It was a different kind of virus. I'm not sure if that was the zombie virus or not. I'd have to go back and look more at that. Um, let's see what else. Um, they have to make a gigantic army to defeat Thanos. I remember that. After Tony dies, that's why it's an Iron Man suit. I don't know that Tony's gonna die. I mean, he might die. I'm thinking Thor might die too. Because that would be kind of out of left field after the success of his last movie. But honestly, he might go on to be with the Guardians or form a different team with them. Um, rights reserved from Marvel infringement. They had to, they had to make it the size of the final foe. Oh, Galactus. Oh, yeah. I don't know about Galactus. Um, Thanos' voice by teaming up. I think there was Thanos' voice in there. There's one of those voices did sound like Thanos because it did almost sound like Tony, Steve, Thanos, and or was it Tony, Thanos, Steve? Somebody else had mentioned that too, and that's quite possible. And that's the other thing. I don't know that Thanos. While I think he's going to be the foe in the movie, I don't know that he's out to fight. The Russos have said, they said he's pretty much done. He done what he did. But even in the comic, it was like that. After he did the snap, and not exactly after, but basically, you know what? I guess. Oh man, that is true. Never mind. I was actually thinking about that. I'm kind of wrong here because what happened was after he got the gauntlet back, or Nebula got the gauntlet from him in the comic books, and basically she undid the snap. Basically everything that he had done in the last 24 hours, which basically turned her back into a ghost, and everybody else came back alive. And then there was some more trouble after that. He got the gauntlet back, and Adam Warlock got the gauntlet. No, it was Adam Warlock got the gauntlet, and yeah, that's when I think that was about the end of it. It's been a while since I read that. But then at the end, he went to talk to Thanos on Titan at his home. He went to talk to Thanos, and Thanos thought he was there to fight, and he's like, "Oh, after all these years, you think I'm still here to fight?" And that wasn't the case. They were there to talk, and that's what I was thinking. If and I think I talked about this last week too. If Thor was actually there on Wakanda in that shot, maybe, or not in Wakanda, but on Titan 2 in that shot, maybe he's not there to fight, because he probably knows that one on one him against Thanos. I don't know. Chances are still pretty slim. I don't know. But maybe not because the gauntlet is damaged. But I do still think that the gauntlet could still harness the stones without damaging the gauntlet. Because he was using all the other stones just fine in unison with each other without damaging the gauntlet. It was just once he used all of them that it fried. So, there was that. And it wasn't even necessarily that, it was the snap that done it, because we actually seen he used all of them when Thor threw the hammer at him. He put his hand up, and all of them were lit up, and he was using the power of all of them against Stormbreaker, and we seen basically the gauntlet using all of them in unison without getting fried. But as soon as he did the snap, it fried. Right? I don't know. But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Thor would still be a force to be reckoned with against Thanos in that situation. Because I don't know, it's hard to say how much time has gone by at that point when he arrives there. It's just hard to say. That's Thanos saying, "Move on." Trailer is releasing on February 20th. I'll be waiting for that on February 20th. VB Studios. Leave. Make sure you do like a premiere or something on that, or make sure you. I don't know if I've found you on Twitter yet, but yeah, leave. I'll check that out. I'll check out your trailer on February 20th. Um. Oh, okay. Yeah, cool, man. That'd be great. Did I watch the video you posted today? No, I didn't. I had a really busy day working. It's been a long day. I was a few minutes getting on here, technical difficulties and everything as well. But no, I haven't really got a chance to watch a whole lot of videos today at all. Let's see. Um, no way for Galactus. Yeah, I don't think Galactus is gonna show up. Chance would be pretty slim. Um, Thanos is the villain for Endgame. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think he's the villain. It just kind of, I mean, in what kind of way, Because being the villain, I mean, obviously he's the bad guy. They've got to overcome what he did. But I was actually thinking about this too. Do they necessarily have to undo the snap? And also when Tony Stark was talking to Doctor Strange about the all the possibilities, the 14 million blah 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 possibilities, I was actually kind of thinking like just he asked how many do we win, right? So just what's that telling me there? Um, Um, consider what's that saying? Consider turning down what? I don't know. My encoder's telling me something here. The fast encoding preset. Let's see. The oh man, I'm sorry, I got lost there. This thing is I don't know. This thing's telling me they've got a bad connection. If it's got a bad connection, let me know and I'll see if I can get this thing back working again. The But yeah, getting back, I think he could use well, okay, and that's where I was at. How many do they win? I don't think they necessarily need to win to defeat Thanos, I guess, or to win the day. Because winning is very subjective. What does it mean to win? To win would be basically everything is undone and Thanos doesn't become a threat to them, right? So for them to win, that's the ultimate thing is it takes kind of reversing everything and getting rid of all the stuff that happened before that leading up to it so there wasn't the threat in the first place. That's winning, right? It's not just bringing all the people back and defeating Thanos. It's everything else. Um which is an interesting thing because there's a lot of people that have been damaged along the way. Like just all the people just in the search of the Tesseract, in the search of Loki's scepter, just all the destruction that has been caused. Even in Civil War. So I don't know. It's almost like there is no way to reverse that without reversing a lot. Okay, let's see here. Bit rate. No. Let's see. I don't know. I don't know what this thing's telling me here. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what does it take mean. What does it mean for them to win? Um. Oh, coming man, Jake, what's up, man? How you doing tonight? Hope you're all having a good evening, man. It's probably kind of late for you over there, right? What would it be about 10 o'clock? 10 o'clock or so. Let's see. Let's see what else is here. Give me a shout out now. VB Studios. There you go. VB Studios. Check him out. Go check out some of VB Studios videos. Um, got some different stuff on there. I was checking out one of them the other day. It was pretty funny. Um, Give me a good chuckle. Oh wow, Thanos team up is the surprise. Yeah, I mean it could be. I mean Thanos did team up with him in the Infinity Watch after after Adam Warlock had basically distributed all the gems, and I can't remember who it was that started coming after all the gems and basically got getting everybody. Man, who was that? I mean, I remember they were suspended in that thing. I can't remember. Um, but yeah, I mean, Thanos team up. I mean, it could happen, but I mean, I just don't know. I mean, it, it it's not unlikely, but I honestly don't know. The suit is Power Rangers combined robot sized. um, let's see. We also see that after the snap, he used the stones to teleport. Right? Yeah, he did. Okay, 11:48. That's midnight. You know, it's so feeling 11:48. That's feeling having a couple drinks. Feeling a little good at the end of the night. I don't really drink much anymore. I mean, I drink water, but and yeah, after the snap, he did still use the stones to teleport back to Titan. So I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't think I don't think that necessarily he can't use the gauntlet still. So I think he still has full access to it. I think just using the gauntlet in the way that he did, I mean, it just fried it for that reason. Everybody's talking about the stones being cursed and everything, and that could be a possibility. But I mean, if they were cursed at the same time with the soul stone of necessarily just giving itself to him, I don't know. I mean, just if it's that sentient, I don't know. That's it's hard to say. But yeah, I mean, I think he can still. I think obviously, we did see him still use him, but I mean, I guess that it would be to what extent, and at that point, does he really need to fight? And maybe some of the other leaks, that was leaks. That's what they were talking about. Is this the damage to how fragile the reality is, how fragile the reality is. And I think that's has to do with basically like Back to the Future type time travel stuff, like fixing things and resetting things. I mean, doing that over and over. I mean, wouldn't that have some sort of effect, you would think? Not necessarily from a time travel perspective, but just altogether, I would think that might have some sort of negative effect on things. Um, let's see. Oh, what's up, Vince? Is it isn't it Thanos' dream to lead the Avengers? I don't know. Thanos' dream to lead the Avengers. It could be. Um, it's hard to say. And I think there was a theory. I think I'd seen one of those theory videos where somebody was talking about Thanos actually being Tony Stark. that kind of made me laugh. I don't know. Um, some of those kind of things make me chuckle. Let's see. I wonder. Oh, okay. Um, let's see. April 26th. I'm waiting. Yeah, man. Yeah, I can't wait for that movie. Give me a shout out on our Avengers movie too. Um, which Avengers movie is it? Is that the one coming out on February 20th? Um, yeah, I mean, uh, let us know. February 20th, VB Studios. Um, so yeah, and I was watching I was watching a video today on Nerdy Blurb TV, and he did this video talking about like the spoilers and everything going on in you see a lot of them here on YouTube, like the spoiler type videos where people are talking about like the toy leaks and just plot theories and everything like that, talking about it spoiling the movie and into too much speculation. And that's kind of the reason I started this channel, was to do that, because I was actually watching. Um, hold on a second. I've got to let my cat out of here. Kitty cat, get out of here! Get out of here, kitty cat. Um, yeah, I kind of started that because I was watching some of these videos, and I was like, man, like, um, some of them I watch it. I was like, man, have these dudes seen these movies? Do they watch? I mean, do they watch the movies? Like, um, God, what's that? I don't know that one. There's that one channel where these guys get on there and they're like, "Hey, brother." I don't know. It's like the silliest stuff ever, and I think it's like made. It's made for like kids, like, I don't know, 10-year-olds, 10-year-olds. I don't know. Even my daughter don't wouldn't watch them. I don't know, but they do kind of watch them if when they happen to come on. But they got some videos where they're talking about some of the movies and everything, and I'm like, man, have you guys watched these movies? Like, they asking, I don't know, they're just asking some of the absurd questions. I'm like, they actually, this is covered in a movie. It's all in the movie. There's no need to speculate on this. It's there. Just watch the movie. Um, but yeah, on Nerdy Blurb PV was asking about, just some of these things ruining the movie experience, and I don't necessarily know that it does ruin the movie experience, because I don't know that anybody's necessarily right. I think, there's some things that we might be right about. Like, obviously, we know that Tony Stark's gonna get back and team up with the Avengers. They're gonna do their thing. I mean, I think that's just kind of a given. Um, but I mean, I guess I could be wrong also. Um, but I mean, I would think it would be a given. Captain Marvel's going to be coming in, and is she going to be a big thing? Like, I don't think she's necessarily going to be there to save the day. I don't think she's going to be like a huge factor, but I think she will be a significant addition to the team. Kind of like Black Panther. You know how his movie came out just before Infinity War, and while he was crucial to their stand in Wakanda and everything, he was crucial to the battle. He wasn't what won the battle. You know what I mean? So I think she'll be just like a good part. Like I said, a good part of it, but not like the be all end all of the story. Because if that was the case, she could just come in and fix everything. I just don't think that's gonna happen. Um, let's see. Is this thing still yelling at me? Use a keyframe sequence of 4 seconds or less. I don't know. I honestly don't know enough about these. My encoder is sitting here yelling at me, so I don't know what it's yelling about. Are you guys having any problems with the stream here? With the live stream, does it look bad or anything? Is it choppy? Does it sound bad? Anything? I honestly don't know. But here it's yelling at me, saying that saying, I don't know. I don't know. I guess I'll have to figure this out more. I'm still new to using this encoder thing. Um, but yeah, what else is there? Oh yeah. But like I was saying, so I don't know that necessarily watching any of these videos ruins the movie experience. And to me, like, honestly, if somebody actually leaked the whole movie, if they knew what happened in the movie, and they wrote like a little book, and I went to the movie, for me, it still wouldn't ruin the experience, because just because I know what's gonna happen and maybe know what they're gonna say doesn't necessarily mean that it's gonna ruin it, because seeing it on the screen is a huge thing. Seeing everything, all the cinematics and everything just all combined in along with what's going on. Because when you're reading it, you're really only going with your imagination. Because if somebody were to leak the actual movie and everything, I mean, it still gives you. I mean, you got to use more imagination and everything. And it brings a lot less context, the cadence in which things happen and things like that. So, I think. Okay, so it could be a little better. Okay, I'll try to get that all situated for my next stream. Make sure I get some of these things figured out. Um, so yeah, I mean, I don't think it necessarily ruins the movie experience, because I mean, it still comes down to seeing it in the context of the movie. Um, But like I was saying about some of these other channels lately, they've been getting pretty outrageous. And I'm not sure if you guys watch, if anybody watches Den of Nerds. They're kind of a big channel, and I get on there and watch a lot of their videos. And even the guy on there, Josh, he's been sitting there. He's been sitting there laughing at some of these videos, and like today, like the past couple days, he's actually been he's actually been pretty forthright and in trolling him and throwing him some shade, man. And you know what? I think hats off to him for that, because like a couple of these channels have gotten pretty ridiculous. I remember a lot of people say like War Stew is like that, and occasionally he gets stories out there, but I mean, he's got to put out videos and talk about different things. He's got a big audience, so people email him and ask him to cover things. So, I mean, naturally, what's he going to do? I mean, if they're asking for it, he's going to make the video of it. If people are asking me about a video about something, I'm going to try my best to make the video about it, even if I covered it, because maybe somebody's not sitting there scrolling through all my old videos, because, maybe I post a video every day of the week, or two, two, two times a week, and three other times of the week. You know what I mean? Like a lot of videos. So a lot of people, maybe they don't want to sift through all that. So, you're good. What are you gonna do? You're just gonna make another video. Um, so you might as well. Thanos team up? I mean, I don't think so. I'd say no. I'd say no for the most part. Um, and let's see. So yeah, like I said, there have been some of the channels getting pretty crazy with some of the theory. Not even the theory videos, but with like the leaks, like drawing like a lot of like I don't know, pretty funny, ridiculous things out of just toy leaks. Like I said, I don't take toy leaks or anything like that too much to heart. They kind of crack me up. Um, but you got to do what you got to do. Like you can scroll through my video list and see the kind of videos I do. I mean, I'm not proclaiming to be any better than these guys at all, because I'm new to this. I just like to kind of make silly videos, have some fun, do some movie reviews. I love movies, music, things like that. And as you can see, I like to do on camera stuff. Like you to see my face, so you can see all the silly faces I'm making when I'm making these videos, because sometimes I do make silly faces. I do. Yeah. So gosh, what else was there in the news? There was we got the Frozen trailer. We got Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck finally said that he's not going to be Batman anymore. He officially confirmed it. That was some news. Which is sad news. You know what? I actually like Ben Affleck as Batman. I thought he was a good Batman. Uh, I had no complaints. I really did like him, and I wanted to see more of it. I thought his version of the Cape Crusader was great. I just think he was dealt the unfortunate hand of not well fleshed out characters and movies that he happened to appear in. I think that was the unfortunate thing, and that's I'm sure trying to make these movies and everything to satisfy people. I mean, it's a hard thing to do, and obviously you're not going to satisfy everybody. And if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. That's the thing. Um, so I mean, it is kind of a shame, that we won't be getting him as Batman anymore. And Henry Cavill, there's all the talk about Henry Cavill too, coming back or not. I'd like to see Henry Cavill continue to play Superman. I think he's great as the Man of Steel. And I remember when the first movie came out, man. I remember seeing like, damn, that boy was yoked. Like never seen Superman looking like that in the movies. You know what I mean? Like he came out like, damn, that was legit. Um, yeah, so it'd be nice to see him continue as Superman. What else was there in the news? Oh, speaking of speaking of all the leaks and everything, it was funny because I seen a website actually run the story. And speaking of which, and I think I talked about this the other week too, just because there's a website out there that's reporting a story doesn't mean it's legit, because people like me, people like you can easily go out there and buy a domain and
basically write stories and things like that. All you need is a domain and a home, just all that stuff to put up stories, put up links, and do all these different things. So I mean, anybody can do that. But one of these uh, one of these outlets um, had this story. They were talking about how John Campea. I'm not sure if anybody watches the John Campea show. How John Campea had said that the new Avengers trailer is going to premiere at the Oscars. That he confirmed it, and I was just laughing because I watch the John Campea show every day, and he didn't actually say that. What he actually said he was saying was it would be a good spot to. Um, he would think it would be a good place to, because I mean they basically have all their chickens in a row there to do that. It's on ABC. They're owned by ABC, Disney, and all that stuff. But it's funny that people actually go out there and write this story saying that he said that he confirmed that it was going to be at the Oscars, and he never said that. And then where I first heard it was on one of these other channels on YouTube. One of the guys had said that John Campea had confirmed that, and I was just laughing. I was like, "Oh, what?" He didn't actually say that, and that's how people just misconstrue these words when people say them. John Campea never said that. If that's the case, there's a lot of other things that he said on that show that well, haven't come true yet. Um, uh, let's see. And speaking of which, that's something else. In the news. And like I said, I don't like to talk politics. But people taking things out of context. Um, a lot. There's been a lot of things in the news about Brie Larson and her press junket and everything. Some of the things that have been said in there, and I don't think. I was just thinking about this because it's nothing I really ever. I try not to pay attention to it, but like so many people talk about it and everything. It's like okay, like you kind of start to think about it, and not necessarily form an opinion, but I started to think that everything that I just heard about it, the things she said, you know, the person she was saying it to is the person who wrote it. Okay, she said these things to this person that was writing the story, and they put it in the story. Was it necessarily questions that she asked? I don't know. Now, did she think that she was on record the whole time? I'm sure she did. If you're talking to if you're a movie star and you're talking to somebody doing an interview, you know that pretty much anything you say to them is gonna be put in that interview, and who knows if they're gonna chop it up and twist your words around or anything. So there's always that risk. Okay, but the one of the things was she was saying, it was those comments supposedly about um, not caring about the opinions of old white men. Okay, and a lot of people, and then that's the other thing, like all these knee jerk reactions that people have, and they're ridiculous to me. Because everybody has knee jerk reactions now. Nobody can just be rational, you know what I mean? And sure, what she said was pretty ridiculous, but I think it's taken out of context too, because who she's talking to. Okay, the person, it was apparently a person who is, a minority and was disabled. Okay, and this person hadn't really done a whole lot of big stories. Okay, hadn't really the opportunities to cover big stories, bigger stars or things like that, bigger movies. And Brie Larson had actually picked this person for that, and she said she was being more conscious of that, who she picked for, because she knows there are other people out there not getting the good interview opportunities, and that's just fine. That's cool, because I mean, if you can do that, like everybody, you get the at some point you get the same person doing the interviewing everybody for the same movies every time, and that's just boring, isn't it? The same person every time. I'm like I don't know. It would be nice for them to do a rotation, And I'm not saying that anybody should just be given priority because of anything else, but there should definitely be some more variety of people doing bigger stories. And I think this was right, but I think her words may have been kind of twisted twisted out of context here, because she was saying this to a person who was getting an opportunity to do a big story. And sometimes you see interviews where people are asking dumb questions and things that, like, it's like, okay, like, obviously you're not somebody who knows anything about the movie anyway, and you don't care, so why are you doing the interview? And a good example I could think of this is, if any of you ever seen the Matrix trilogy. I've got it on DVD, but if you ever see those, the Wachowskis actually did this thing with the releases of these movies, where they put three different commentary tracks on these movies, on all three of them. There's a commentary track with the directors. There's a commentary track where they have, I believe it's three or four professors from universities who are like professors of philosophy and things like that. And I can't remember what they're not just like all doctors of philosophy, but it lists them on there. And then the third one is is a commentary of people who do like movie reviews, right? And you know, it was really funny watching it, and I get why they done it. And this is coming back to this stuff is, you watch, like, for the obviously the one with the Wachowskis and everybody, where they're doing the commentary track, they're talking about a lot of things they did with the movie and everything. The commentary track with the professors from the university, and these doctors, like I said, I think some of them may have been like psychologists and philosophers, and they had, I'm sure they had different degrees, but actually one of them was actually in the movie, too. I can't remember the doctor's name, but he kind of had the afro. I'll get back on that one of these days, because I'll probably do a review of the Matrix movies. But they get really insightful, and they're actually watching the movies, and they're talking about what's going on in the movie, how it relates to things like philosophies, and just all the things that they put into the Wachowskis put into that trilogy. And they talked really deep about a lot of the themes and things going on in the movies. And then you go and you watch the one with all these people who do the reviews. And the things they talk about are like the most boring, mundane things in the world. And it's like, dude, really? These are the people that were writing, that are big writers for these big magazines, for these big outlets. And you see the things that they're saying in this movies, and it's like, really, you're picking this out of, like, no, no. I don't want to hear what you have to say about the movie. And it totally made sense why the Wachowskis did that. And just, I guess, with given the success of their movies, how groundbreaking they were and everything at the time, and a lot of those things. I mean, it really showed to me that reflective of those things going on. Um, yeah, I thought it was pretty crazy. And so I think that's where some of that stuff that, like, Brie Larson had said, kind of gets taken out of context, and and things like that. And like I said, I usually tune that kind of stuff out, because I don't really care what any of these people think. I just want to hear what they have to say about the movie and things going on in the movie. I don't. Their politics. That's their politics. I try not to let politics ruin things like that. But like, speaking of politics in the movies, and let me just finish up there. Is, I think some of her words were taken out of context here, and for anybody to cry about that, especially like through what we just went through, like, here in the States with, like, the elections and everything. Everybody's so quick to just jump on everybody's throat, or disagree and everything, and I think that's kind of what this is too. Everything's a knee jerk reaction. Everything's a knee jerk reaction. It doesn't have to be. Um, and so I think that these things were taken a little out of context. Now, what she was saying okay? No, I mean, I think they were. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, people saying these kind of things is ridiculous. I, I'm not saying it's racist, but to it's counterproductive to society. These kinds of things. In case you don't, none of you know, I'm uh, multiracial. I've got a whole bunch of different races going through my blood. So like to me these things are just ridiculous. And a lot of people always talk like, oh, you've probably just never been subjected to racism and everything. Everybody has, man. Everybody's been stereotyped and subject to it. um it's not one way or the other, just some people are more extreme about it than others. um but every race has had atrocities happen to them. And so yeah, I think I try to separate all these politics. But then, like, Star Wars, okay? And Star Wars: The Last Jedi came out. Like, you know what? Like, I like the movie. I like Star Wars. I like The Last Jedi. But then, like, there are some things in the movie that are kind of off-putting, and there are things in there that I didn't like that some people didn't really even mention. But like for me, like at the very beginning, Poe Dameron with his whole little chit chat back and forth, his whole little sarcastic thing he did there at the beginning when he went to attack the dreadnought. I remember seeing that. I'm just like, what's with this kind of smart aleck, I don't know, like sarcastic humor. I'm not used to seeing this in a Star Wars film. I didn't, like when I first watched that, I mean, it took me out of the film. It kind of did. I was sitting there like, I was laughing, but I'm kind of like, like this. I don't feel right laughing in this way in a Star Wars movie. And I get you're trying to change it up. Kudos to trying to change things up, but that's just that. To me, it just wasn't Star Wars. And then obviously they injected a lot of politics into it too, in not so subtle ways. And and a lot of people reacted to it. And I think later, like a lot of the reactions, I'm like, I just got so tired of so tired of hearing about it and everything. I tuned it out, and like Star Wars completely. Like I just completely tuned out Star Wars. I'm just like, you know what? I'm just done. Anything that comes across my news feed that's Star Wars related, I kind of don't really care at this point. Um, don't really care. And I'm trying to get back into it. We got episode 9 coming up. Supposedly there was supposed to be a trailer dropping soon. And, I'm just like, don't really care. Don't really care. And it's sad. It's sad. And it's all just because, and it's all really just because everybody else griping with these politics and everything over it. Like, I try not to care, but in the end, it still did leave a sour taste in my mouth. But so I guess in the end, I mean, it does kind of affect it, but it's like, I don't know. You got to somehow try to tune it out sometimes, I guess. And it's not always the easiest thing. And speaking of which, I was going to talk about this because, like I did mention earlier about the Disney thing. Um, Disney has made some mistakes. A lot of people were talking about like the firing of James Gunn, right? It's a huge deal, and actually pretty upset about it too. I think he's a pretty good director. And what the things that he said, they were pretty tasteless. It was pretty ridiculous. Um, a lot of people make bad jokes. A lot of people say dumb things, right? And I don't know. I think at this point it's too late for him to fix it. But they fired off the hip too fast and just firing him. They just they just pulled the plug just like that. They were just so knee jerk reaction. It was just a knee jerk reaction, and they did the same thing like well, okay, Marvel Studios had the thing with was it Andrew Wright? Is that his name? Who was supposed to Edgar Wright, who was supposed to originally direct Ant-Man, and I think that was probably maybe something a little bit more between like Marvel Studios and them. But the James Gunn thing was totally Disney, and Disney. Let's not forget that Disney also fired Phil Lord and Chris Miller from doing Solo, right? And and look at their work, what they've done. And God, what else? What other controversy was there with Disney? There was the John Lasseter thing too. And now the thing here is they're making just rash decisions. And like when they fired Phil Lord and Chris Miller, to me, I think that's a huge mistake. They should have just took the gamble and let him make the movie. And if they were willing to fire him, just like that, it kind of lets me know that they didn't do any research into hiring them. Because why would they just fire him like that? Like, supposedly, and I never didn't really look too far into it because I guess I didn't care that much. Supposedly, part of it was because like some of the stars were complaining about the directors and how they were taking it, like it being too funny and things like that, and slapsticky, and they just didn't feel like that was like the heart of the movie. Um, I also, the movie wasn't complete neither. We didn't. I mean, if you watch their work, you kind of know what you're gonna get, if you ask me. And um, it's just a sad deal. It makes me think that they honestly didn't go back and look at their work and know who they were hiring to do that movie. Uh, if they were just willing to fire him like that, because you know what movie you're going to get when you hire Phil Lord and Chris Miller. Look at Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse. That movie was phenomenal. I mean, that movie was great. When does that release on digital? By the way, I need to get that. Um, So it makes me think, it was a huge misstep by them to just let them go from that movie. And then it was a huge misstep for them to just fire James Gunn. They could have just said, okay, you know what? We're going to let you, since we got the script and everything, we're going to go ahead and finish this movie, and that's it. That would have been, to me, that would have been a better reaction from them. Um, or finding another way around it. But just outright firing him was, I mean, it's just so knee jerk reaction, and that's just not. I mean, that's not anything we need. Especially in society these days, and from a big company like that. I mean, I get they're a big company and they got stockholders and investors and all that stuff, but at the same time, I mean, nobody was happy by this decision. You know, nobody's happy by this decision. What else? What else was in the news? Oh, um, man, what was it? Director James Cameron. James Cameron came out with his backhanded comments about Aquaman, to James Wan and everything. That was some pretty big news I was hearing about, and I was like, like a lot of people, I don't know, I guess are kind of would be upset about James Cameron saying those things, and I mean, hasn't James Cameron kind of earned the right to really say what he feels when somebody asks him a question? He was asked a question and he answered honestly. I mean, really, I mean, I think he's kind of earned that right. I mean, look at his body of work. It speaks for itself. Now, does he have to be a jerk? No, he don't have to be, and I don't think he necessarily was being. But I think at the same time, um, he's he's earned the right to give his comments when somebody asks him a question like that. And you know, he's not required to be a nice person and say things that everybody agrees with. But that's just if you ask me. I'm sure there's plenty of things that I say that people don't agree with. Um, anyway, I think that's all I got for tonight, folks. Thank you all for tuning in to the Second Street Marvel for yet another episode of the Trailer Park Live. Make sure you leave a comment down in the comments below. Go check out any of the other videos. Leave a comment in those because we're going to be doing that giveaway for the one. Since we hit 100 subscribers, we're going to be doing that very soon. I'll be giving more details in my upcoming videos about that. I am going to give it a little bit of time so everybody has a chance to leave some comments and get entered into the drawing for that giveaway. So, thank you all for tuning in to the Second Street Marvel. If you haven't already, please make sure you're subscribed. Click the little bell so you get notifications anytime we have uploaded new content. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And while you're at it, make sure you share it with a friend and invite them to come hang out with us here on 2nd Street. Have a great day.